Welcome to Running for Real, a global community with a shared love and curiosity for running. Together we reconnect with the reasons why we love to run and discover ways it helps us become better people. Whether it's the quiet moments of a morning run while the rest of the world still sleeps, or befriending the strangers next to you at the start line of a race, we are here to connect with others who see running as the common thread that weaves our lives together. Come join me, Tina Muir, as I talk with people from all walks of life, united by a love of running. Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 408 of the Running for Real podcast. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited that you are here and excited to welcome my guest to the show. Excited for you to meet my guest. You're going to hear the story of how we randomly ran into each other in a park in St. Louis, which is where he is from. He doesn't live here anymore. We just happened to bump into each other with our dear friend, Ricky Rock. Ricky from St. Louis on social media. You may remember him from a previous episode. If you missed that one, go back and check it out. Today, I am excited to welcome Adrian Octavius Walker to the podcast. Now, Adrian and I had an interesting conversation about how running can really change your life for the better. He only started running a few years ago, and he has come a long way. If you need a dose of inspiration, this is definitely going to give it to you. But he's also a photographer and senior art director at Getty Images. So it's interesting how he views those two very different worlds, I should say, and how they blend and how they keep separate. I really enjoyed this conversation with Adrian, and I think you're going to see why. He is a great person to follow online, not only because his beautiful work through his creative side, but also through his running journey. If you are running Chicago, there are many people this year I'm excited to go watch in Chicago this year. He is definitely one of them. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and meet Adrian. Friends, I've been talking to you about Tracksmith for 5 years now, and there is reason for that. I love using it in my day-to-day. I'm wearing Tracksmith right now. I wear it in my day-to-day, and then I take it on my runs, or currently I take it on my bike and sometimes on my swim to be comfortable while I'm working out. Now, I have been wearing these products for 5 years. The quality is exactly the same. I know I talk about this often, but the biggest thing we can do environmentally when it comes to apparel, which, by the way, apparel accounts for 10% of global emissions, it's a lot. The biggest thing we can do is to wear our clothes over and over, buy quality items that last. And that is my favorite thing about Tracksmith. Now, I have really been enjoying the Alston adjustable bra. Those of you who love the Alston, it's been made even better now because it has the adjustable features, so you can make it as supportive as you like and what works for you and your body. So if you are a woman who's been looking for a new sports bra that is going to last for a long time, go check out that Alston adjustable bra. I've also been talking to you for many years about my favorite session speed shorts. Those are extremely comfortable in these summer months. I have many pairs. I wear them every single week. They wash up beautifully. And as a friend of mine, you can get yourself $15 off your order of $75 or more by going to tracksmith.com and using code TINANEW. That's going to get you $15 off your order of $75 or more. If you have already purchased something from Tracksmith, you can use code TINAGIVE. That's going to make a donation on your behalf and give you free shipping with your order. So go check out those items. I also love the Brighton base tank this time of year, as well as basically any of the other tanks. I am currently wearing the Harrier tank, but go ahead and check out tracksmith.com. Use code TINANEW or TINAGIVE. Adrian, welcome to the Running for Real podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited you are here and excited we get to do this. We literally randomly ran into each other.
At the most beautiful park in the world.
Oh, you're that passionate about can I say our city? You still consider it your city?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. In St. Louis, Forest Park. You were with Ricky. I was with my friend Michael. I can't remember it was a very random day. I don't even want to say it was like a time that you would expect to see people out running, but we, stopped, talked for a few minutes, and Ricky was like, you've got to interview Adrian. And I was like, okay, I would love to. And here we are. So I'm excited that I did get that opportunity to meet you. I've loved diving into a bit more to get to know you since that moment. And I'm sure there'll be many moments in the years to come. But you just mentioned there, St. Louis. Very proud to be from St. Louis. Tell us about why the city means so much to you.
I mean, it's just like the city I was born in. You know, I learned so much from being in the city. It taught me just how to be, how to approach society, people. I went to school. My background is in sociology. And so I used to talk to a lot of people in my neighborhood. I grew up in North City, JBL, stand for Jeff Vanderloo. So I went to Dunbar Elementary School, Michon High School. And it's just like, you know, I am a product of my environment, you know, as an individual from the city of St. Louis, seeing the dark side, seeing the light, you know, friends come and go, and just knowing the city in the back of my hand. And,
yeah.
Wouldn't trade it for the world.
I love that. It's interesting that you told me before that you left, or I guess you left in 2014, but you moved to Chicago in 2019. Mm-hmm. I have been living in St. Louis. I moved here in 2020. I feel like I'm just starting to get to know the city properly now.
I mean, 2020 wasn't a year.
Yeah, 2 years of kind of not really being able to do much.
Right.
And so I'm really starting to get at peace with it. I'm starting to find my people, and it feels good. And so I could see how, it would feel like a part of you. I mean, I still feel that way about where I'm from in England, and I left there like in 2006. So it's always going to be a part of you. And I love that you come back and you continue to find ways to connect to that part of you, and bring it into everything that you do, as you mentioned. Right. So let's first go into the photography side of things a little bit. You are a photographer and the senior art director at Getty Images. I'm sure most people listening have heard of Getty. But what does that involve, that title of senior art director? What does that mean for those of us who aren't in the photography world?
Right. I just, my job, it's a lot of parts. So I just keep it simple. I work with photographers from around the U.S. and Canada. Mm-hmm. And I assign them to briefs that I write / that are written throughout the ethos in Getty. Just assign them to like the briefs to photograph and bring the things into real life.
Do you enjoy that piece of it? I was talking to someone about this earlier today, actually, about how maybe this has always been the case with someone like you, a creative who has a passion about this, but it feels a lot to me now like things you have to tell an entire story in a single post. You have to get something that like catches people's eyes enough, whether it's a reel or a post or a video or a static image or whatever it is. It feels like you said about the brief and like the creative arc and the vision of everything. Do you like that side of it, of like breaking it down, or are you a person who would love if you could just kind of let it all unfold in one as it's happening?
9 times out of 10, I wish I was the one that's shooting everything. It's just easy to manage just a person, myself, versus managing other people. But it's fun. Y'all learn a lot. It's challenging. Every job has its challenges. But at the same time, I wish I was sometimes on the other side photographing things. Or just with them photographing it. It's just that one-on-one connection with people. You know, I feel like it's kind of like lost in a way. I'm just kind of really, I like working from home, but I do miss turning around and just saying like, hey, versus the whole like, hey, can you hop on a Zoom real quick? You know, it's just.
And how do you find ways within yourself, if that isn't what you're doing most of the time, to kind of scratch that itch or do it for yourself? Is running a part of that?
I mean, I would say running is a whole separate part from like my whole photo life. You know, I kind of when I'm locked in and running, I'm locked in. It's like even hard for me to even be like a content creator around running. You know, I was talking to a good friend about it today. For the life of me, Tina, I cannot put my phone down and run past it. It's no way. Like, no diss to anybody who's doing it. You know, shout out to my boy Ricky, who's really good at it.
He is.
I don't know if we can curse on this podcast.
Yeah, you can. I'm gonna say something in a little while. Yeah.
All right, but if I'm running past my motherfucking phone, I ain't going to get it back. You know, I'm tired. I want to get the workout done. So shout out to all my content creators, including myself, in the way I create content. I'm still trying to like get into that space because that's how you get stuff. I see you got to play the game, and I love playing certain games, but the workouts, I just want to get them done, and I want to get it done efficiently. And then I don't want to, if I'm looking back at the workout, it's like literally looking at my numbers or talking about it in a space like this, but just running past my phone, propping it up. I haven't got it, not yet. It ain't hit me yet. Even holding my phone up and running is hard. I haven't even mastered it yet. I tried to do it with my daughter last week when I was, she's riding her bike without training wheels now. I'm like, oh shit, you can pace me now. It's cool. I'm trying to get this video of us. I'm not even in the video. I feel old as hell. Like it's all off centered.
Is this you try, like you do want to do that, or do you like the fact that you rebel against that and you keep the two things separate?
You know, I don't even want to say I'm rebelling because this is like one of those things where it's just like, yeah, I think I want to create and do things in my own way, like how I've always done. I've kind of always found a lane in doing something. Not saying I'm trying to be different. It's just like I organically, like just like this running shit, I organically fell into it because I started doing it more and more. And then I got better and better. I started asking different questions. I started digging into stuff. I think my pride and joy that I preach on is really trying to always just be healthy at the end of it. I just want to be healthy. Even meeting you at the time that I met you, and I think you were telling me about an injury that you were dealing with or going through. Or I don't know if you were just already injured, but then like fixing that injury, finally getting to it. But this is all for years of like doing this shit. And I just like really want to just like master not getting injured or going through those things. So it's just like recovery and listening to my body. So for me, it's just like my primary focus was always listening to my body. Because in the past, especially in 2020, I was just running. And I was just like, damn, my knee hurts. I'm going to go run again. You know, and then, oh, damn, my foot hurts. But I'm going to go run again. You know what I'm saying? Like, just literally not listening because it's just like, I was like, I don't want to miss a mark. But now I'm like, I'm not missing the mark if I'm just taking care of myself.
And
so that means listen to your body, not running.
Yeah.
You know, if I literally wake up and I know I have a run on the clock and I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, there is a lot we can dig into that. I love hearing that. I also clocked the thing you're wearing on your wrist, which I also have on my wrist, which is helpful. Yes, for doing exactly that. Yes, a whoop. For kind of, you know, being that reminder to you of like, okay, you did a lot yesterday, or you didn't sleep well last night, things like that. Okay, so let's go into that a little bit. It's interesting hearing that because that should be, in theory, the ultimate goal for all of us, right? To do this for our health, to do this at a level where we can commit to something and do something important and work towards something, but we don't step over the line of where it's doing more harm than good. Have you always been that way in everything that you have done, knowing to listen to your body, trusting your body and following through with that? Or is that something you've learned over time?
Definitely learned over time. I mean, with everything, you know, it's just kind of like, so during like COVID 2020, one of my best friends, Dan, who lives in St. Louis. So Dan and I, once I moved from St. Louis, we used to do workouts all the time at Forest Park. It would be centered around like compound movements and like a lot of like what is it called? HIIT workouts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we would do a lot of HIIT workouts, and we would get a group to do them. So we kind of kept that going, and then we created Valiant Global, which we was just doing these workouts online, and we were literally accumulating a community of people from around the freaking world on Instagram, on the internet, local, and like literally like some folks that was like out the country. It was kind of wild. And we were just doing these workouts every day at 10:30. 10:30 my time, 10:30 our time, because we was, central. LA, my boy John, he was in LA, so 8:30 his time. Homegirl Brittany Hill, she's East Coast, so, an hour up from her, whatever. And we were doing these workouts, and I was literally just like at the crib, at home. I bought some equipment, drove it from St. Louis to Chicago, and we just set up shop, and we were just doing these workouts. And it wasn't until like this one time I just tweaked my shoulder. I just kept working out. And that's what really got me into running, because I messed up my shoulder so bad that being hard-headed, just kept doing it, and just was like, you know what, I got to move. And I just like I got into running. But then I got into running, and I just kept doing it wrong, running in the wrong shoes, wrong size shoes. Just really just trying to cram everything in, you know what I'm saying? And it's over time, I was just like, I want to really focus on this the right way and learn it. Just like with photography or anything else, you know what I'm saying? Like after a while, you're just shooting all the time, and then your work is not evolving. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is evolving. Everything is kind of looking the same. So it's just like really taking time out for things to look different and feel different. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to feel different after everything.
Friends, I am so excited to introduce you to one of our brand new partners. And you've probably seen them around because they are growing so fast and doing such impressive things that I'm really enjoying. Runner is the #1 rated running coaching app in the world with 20,000 5-star reviews. And they're on a mission to make running as easy, effective, and enjoyable as possible. They do this through creating personalized running plans for all abilities, ranging from those starting their running journeys, those doing couch to 5K, all the way up to 2:30 marathon elite runners. All of their plans are built by Olympic athletes and expert coaches. So let me tell you a little more. They have strength and conditioning plans that are running specific and full body. That's easily in addition to your training. You can have your strength and conditioning in the same place. They have integrated mobility and Pilates plans. If those of you like me, who are not typically good at that stuff, it's right there for you on the app. They have calendar syncing. And best of all, my favorite part, you can connect with like-minded runners in the community section of the app. Now, Runner has really been doing a lot within the running space to support the running community. And I've really loved watching all that they have been doing, the events that they've been showing up at. If you see a runner event near you, go to it. It is really amazing to see. Finally, as you are a friend of mine, if you use code RUNNINGFORREAL, that's running, FORREAL, running for real, you can get yourself 2 weeks for free by going to Runner, the app Runner, RUNNA, that's Runner, RUNNA in your app store, and using the code RUNNINGFORREAL. That will give you 2 free weeks. You can check it out. You can fall in love with it. And I can't wait to hear what you think. Yeah, I think that's such an important realization. And actually, you came to that conclusion so much quicker than I think most runners do, as I think that is something, recognizing something needs to give, something needs to be different about the long-term focus. That usually takes decades for people to learn.
It takes a minute because the thing is, I was dealing with it. I was like literally dealing with it from, 23. So we're in 2024 right now. So 2023, that's when I did all those, runs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was dealing with a knee issue, and I didn't know that I was pronated. And then I met so many elite runners at the time. One of my good homies, he was telling me, "Oh, I see what you're doing. You're pronated," and literally switched that up right after we ran and was able to fix that. Like I haven't had the issue ever since, and then like linking up with Kayla and then just talking with her and she running me through stuff and stuff like that. And just like, I asked so many questions to the point that something I feel like, I feel like I can't be annoying, you know what I'm saying? But cause I'm not going to act like I know everything either. I could actually really pride myself on that. If I don't know something, I just don't know it. I'm not going to be embarrassed that I don't know it.
Yeah.
I got to ask the question. It's fine. Because I'm not going to put myself in a position of thinking that I do know something. And just because 1,000 people knew about it, I will be 1,001. Like say, I do not know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
And be prideful of that. It's okay. I won't be embarrassed. It's like perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what I would say I pride myself on.
It's interesting. I often say to people when, I say that like pretty much anyone in anything, but especially in running, could be a mentor. A mentor doesn't have to be someone who's been running for 15 years and knows every single thing about the sport. Well, thinks they know everything about the sport. But someone who started running 6 months ago is able to relate and kind of remember not knowing these words that even runners of a few years know. And so there's so many things that when you're brand new to either running itself or the community of running that you have to learn. And as you said, there's a lot of sometimes people can make someone feel like, well, how do you not know that? But as you said, you don't know what you don't know. I still look
up what the hell are 400 and 200. Even I do this shit almost every week. I'm still looking up like, all right, how many times there? Like I still look it up, because it's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot to like just kind of sink in my head, because I have a lot going on already. So it's just like, I just want to just a refresh, even with this, like I told you, I have a time trial tomorrow. I know this is not airing, like whenever it airs, but June 27th, 2024, I'm having my first mile time trial, and I'm nervous as hell.
Yeah.
So I'm like hitting up Marina every 5 seconds, asking her questions, trying to see what I can do different. What should I not do? I haven't even ate dinner yet. And I'm like thinking, like, do I even eat dinner after I've talked to Tina? Or do I just eat some yogurt and take my ass to sleep? You know what I'm saying? Because I want to get some rest. Because I have this 6:35 heat in the AM. You know what I'm saying? This is my first time doing it. So this is another first for me. This is my first marathon. I ran a marathon, but I haven't ran a time trial, a mile time trial yet. It's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I'm doing something new every time I approach this, getting the coaches, talking to the coaches, asking them questions, everything is just like super new, and I want to always be a student.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
love that.
To this, even like we're talking with Ricky and seeing him and Coach, like they are doing their first, Coach, like Paul, they're doing their first Chicago marathon.
Yeah.
And like getting into the marathon and just like seeing them do their thing, you know what I'm saying? It's amazing. And then like just really follow suit, like with the plan and sticking to that plan, And then also too, another thing that I'm learning that there are going to be curveballs within your plan. And like last week, I wasn't able to do my long run. I was in Portland and I just I didn't know where the hell I was at. So I just did half of it, just did 6 miles instead of 11. And I made it work. Like this weekend, my long run, I'm going to have to do it in St. Louis because I'll be in St. Louis under a circumstance that I don't, I got to go to a funeral. So I got to do a long run right before a funeral. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing it at the lakefront where I thought I was going to do it at with my run club here, So it's just like accepting what's coming to you instead of like, and just being prepared for it. So I want to be prepared for whatever. And I think I was able to do that last year and master that. Every long run I have, afterwards I'm with my kids. I have a 2 and a 6-year-old. You got kids too. I hear them in the background. They don't give a fuck about what we got going on. It's whatever. They don't. And it's just kind of like, after I get through running, I do as much as I can. I take a bath. I take a shower. I get some food in my system, and I'm with them for the rest of the day. Like, I'm literally, they stepping all on you, on your sore legs. They doing everything that you don't want them to do. But I was just like rebelling through that. So that's why I would say I am rebelling. It's just kind of like doing the even harder work that I have to do. You know what I'm saying? I have to be with my kids. You know, they're not going anywhere. So after a long run, I'm getting rest in a way, but I can't stop my kids from wanting to go outside. What I'm going to do is say no to them because I chose to do something crazy in the morning at 6 a.m. Or do I have to, do they have to suffer because I'm tired, because daddy is tired? No, I'm gonna get up with them. I'm gonna do what they want to do, hang out with them, and we're gonna do things together. I may still be walking around limping. Sometimes I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually feel okay. Didn't you just run 20 miles today? Yeah. And now I'm with them. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of like, that's the ultimate reward.
You do seem very good at compartmentalizing in that way of like, when you're in something, you're really in it and you're committed and you give it your best. Do you feel like that accurately represents you in terms of you're not thinking about other things when you're in one of your passions, or in terms of life and kids when you're with them?
I mean, I'm thinking about a lot of things. I don't wear headphones when I'm running. I don't listen to music. Well, it's kind of like I bought this little speaker. Now I just play my music out loud. So I'm one of those people, just play my music out loud until like it gets interrupted or it falls or drops or whatever. But, I'm just kind of like really just listening to my surroundings or whatnot, and just honestly just being there with what I'm doing. I would say this kind of stemmed from just like, again, growing up. I've seen a lot of stuff at an early age. I lost my mom at 10 when I was 10 years old. So it's just kind of like thinking about loss, thinking about games, thinking about, my life as an artist. Like, I did a lot of cool shit early on in my career. And so like now it's just like seeing things like just kind of slow down. Now I just kind of like seeing the wheels turn in a different light, you know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at life. It's like all about seasons. So this is a season of running. And it's just like, maybe in a couple of years, I'm going to still, ideally I still want to run, but I may not be competing. You know what I'm saying? I probably just like want to just run. But right now I am in a place where I want to chase majors. You know what I'm saying? Because it's fresh and I want it to happen, but I'm going to do it in a way that's safe and it makes sense. We haven't even, I guess, just hopping. Running my first marathon last year, I wasn't expecting to run that in the time that I did.
Would share it, because that is a very fast time for a first marathon.
Right, 3 hours and 39 minutes official time. And so I just remember a buddy of mine, Picasso, who is a Gumbo Fit. He works with Gumbo. He's a coach over there. He said, I don't think you realize what the fuck you just did. Like, but what's crazy about hearing him say that was being on the track and doing these Track Tuesday workouts with Gumbo faithfully on Tuesday nights. And then just when I lock in with a person, especially a coach or somebody like that, or somebody telling me how to do something correctly and what to do, I just really was like lock in. So I remember Picasso when I was like just kind of hitting the corner on the track. And he's like, that last, those final 100 meters, that's when you lock in and just like take it there. You know what I'm saying? Give it all you got right there, because those seconds really count. And I just kind of locked in on that. So even when I'm doing track workout, I still remember Picasso saying it to me. And this is the same person that said what he said about the time that I did. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that is insane, because it's only going to get better from there.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I'm trying to work from a 4-hour marathon. I'm working from 3:39. And, now it's just kind of like racing halves, and even seeing my time with that, you know what I'm saying? Which is like, I think my PR now is like 136.11.
Yeah, I saw that a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And that was Chicago, which that was my first time beating myself up over a race.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
I went in thinking I was like going to do somewhere in between 130 and 135. Still PR from St. Louis, by some seconds, but every second matters. But I was just like, literally like just in my head, I was like, what the hell am I doing this to myself right now? I literally had to talk myself out of it. Because last year I had Kayla holding me damn near going through it. You know what I'm saying? And then this year it's just like, she's cheering me on. Like, you're really doing this. You're racing now. So it's just like, you can't afford to beat yourself up from just last year. You did this to this year. You're doing that. It's like night and day for me, which is dope.
Yeah. I think this is a really important point, actually, because this is where the point you're at, obviously it's relative. Some people, this point you're feeling might be someone who starts their first race is a 5 hour and they that was faster than they thought. Someone might be a 2:45. But the point is the same, of where you have a performance that is better than you expect. You feel really good about it and you start to dream, which is an amazing thing to do. But then, it gets difficult because as you get closer to the event, you start to think too much. People tend to go one of two ways. They either like think it's going to be easy and they're like, oh, I'm so much fitter than I was. This is going to feel great. And then when they struggle a little bit, which we always do, they're like, oh, this is falling apart. This is not how it's supposed to be. Or they do, like you were saying there, like really get wound up of like, I gotta improve. I gotta do this. And it can be really hard to pull yourself out of that. And it can be really easy to spiral. Right. So I'm glad you've got good people around you to remind you of that and remind you that the way to run our best is to relax into it and try and channel that energy from the early days where it wasn't about like a performance. It was about giving it all you had and the time will take care of itself. But right. I know it's not as easy to do when you're out there doing it.
But I think that, what I'm analyzing, I feel like that's kind of like where I fall with a lot of things. It's just like digital age. We're seeing a lot of people do this. Like running is a hot thing right now. Mm-hmm. So I even want to talk to folks like yourself and ask you, how do you feel about the running community now? Because there is a bunch of social media. It's a dating pool right now. It's like people are doing it to date, which I can't even be mad at because, like when you think about it, it's a great way to meet somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like on like just physical, you're moving your body, is healthy. You know what I'm saying? And if you do find love out there, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But then it's just like also too, people are getting checks. You know what I'm saying? They're getting money from it. They're getting it's like so much stuff. Like we are in a digital age,
and big
also
money too.
Big money. And another thing is, you're seeing so much of it. Like it's all around you. It's like literally all around us now. Like we're seeing it. We're seeing everything more, obviously, because we are in the digital age. So I sometimes think like, what if I kept this up during the time that I was doing it in Oakland? Because I remember a homie of mine, his name is Mancy Gann, amazing photographer, DJ. Mancy was running. And I was always looking at Mancy's like, this is back when I was just using the Nike app. I do, you're running fast as hell. How do you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you doing the lake like that? Like, and not being, gassed. Because I have asthma, but that's what I had to overcome. And like my breathing, it's stamina and all that type of stuff. And now I'm there. So now it's just like, I got people looking at me. It's like, how can you do this the way you do it? You know what I'm saying? And just like, and it just like over time, like I wasn't trying to get fast. It just kind of happened. And then I noticed like when I was doing the stuff, like even tomorrow, like my heat is between a 5:15 and 5:35. I think 5:45. I'm nervous as hell.
That is
I'm
fast.
like,
Yeah.
why do you put me there? Like, I was talking to my boy Jorge and then my boy Kofi. And Jorge was like, cause you fast as fuck, bro. Like you are fast. And it's just kind of like to hear that, this is like a gag for me. But at the same time, it's just like, all right, I got it. But then it's like, it's also pressure too. You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that. And you also have the additional pressure for you as being one of the 3 Chicago Distance Series ambassadors. So like you've got, I would imagine that adds a certain level of pressure that they only pick 3 people that, you know, you did so well last year that, and they want to support you and they're featuring you and things like that. So you have lots of layers of pressure coming in. But yeah, with your mile time trial, and I think just in general for people listening, you know, this nervousness thing before races, before time trials is something I've spoken on often because, you know, when something means something to you and there is such a big potential for your head to get in the way and psych you out of something, even though you know you're potentially physically capable of it because of, like in your case, your coach knows that you have the potential to do this, but there's so much, the pressure there can definitely derail us, and that applies to anything. But again, yeah, I always try and have people default back to the way you're going to run your best is if you can pull out that childlike joy of it and just be like, you know what, I'm going to run my best. And I like to think of it, I'll just say this to you in your example, but listeners can apply this to their own version of this. Like when you're in lap 2, you say to yourself, okay, can I hold this up for another 2 laps? If the answer is no, then maybe back off a touch. If the answer is, yeah, it's going to hurt, but I can do it, then keep going and really just keep asking yourself, like, am I doing the best I can for this moment? And if you keep asking yourself that, you're going to run to your potential, and your potential will be whatever it will be. But in most cases, it ends up being faster than people think it will because they're not thinking, hit this time. You know, they're not overthinking it. They're just like letting their body, like exactly what you said, you're good at listening to your body. That will allow you to do that. If you're listening to your body rather than thinking about overthinking it and trying to add too many dynamics to it. And especially someone like you who seems to be quite good at understanding your body even more so.
Right. You know, honestly, at the back a few weeks back for the 13.1, when I was like at mile, probably like 10 and a half, 11, I was like, I can't wait for this shit to be over. And that's what I was thinking. I always start
Very
thinking
normal
that.
thought.
You know, so I'm like, damn, I can't wait for this to be over. It's like, even though I am enjoying it, I still am. It's not even the fact that you're tired. It's just like, I am really, when you get, the closer you get, the quicker you want it to be over. And it's not even the fact that you can, like, even if you can pick up the pace or can't pick up the pace, I just want it to be over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can get to the fun part. You know what I'm looking forward to? Next year, cheering. I'm looking forward to being on that side. Just to cheer and be on that side. So I'm going to run a lot next year, but I don't think I'm going to do the Chicago Marathon again next year. It's, you know, I think it's okay not to do a 3-peat. I don't know. I'm saying it now, but I don't know. And even if I do it, I may just kind of like, just not race and just do it just for vibes.
And there's something perfectly okay with that. You asked earlier, like how I feel about the running space. I personally love the fact that I think sometimes there's a little bit too much of like over, as I mentioned earlier, I really struggle with the trying to hack the system side of it, of like, what can I do that'll get the most clicks and likes, and we all have to buy into it. I'm not into that piece of it, of like titles on videos that are very drastic just to like get eyeballs. But I generally love the fact that there's more freedom and capacity and belief in people of all speeds. I don't know if I remember whether we met before or after this, but I ran New York last year with my friend who has Down syndrome, and it took her 10 hours and we were at the very back of the race. for New York. And I really loved and cherished seeing the crews and the clubs who were still out there at 7 p.m. and knowing that they had been out there all day and what that meant to all these people that were around us, that they were still out there cheering. So
that's the thing. Like you're gonna remember that moment for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? And to see those type of videos, because I don't, was that the video that went viral? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't even know that was your friend. Wow, damn, that's wild. I definitely seen it. I probably seen it on your end. But like, that's amazing to see. You know what I'm saying? It's just like amazing to see all of these different type of bodies and people out here doing the same fucking thing, running 26 miles, no matter what speed, what time, one leg, two legs, no eyes, like all that.
Yeah.
Everybody is going for the same. They're going the same fucking direction to the end, and that to me is one of the most special things about all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we're literally ending the same place, starting at the same place, we're ending at the same place, just in different times. Everybody's going through so much. You know, somebody probably just lost somebody close to them, and they still got to do this shit. Yep. Somebody's stomach is hurting so bad. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's actually in the midst, they got injured during the race. There's so much stuff happening, but like in your head, you're just like, you're only in your own thoughts or whatever. So for me, going back to that question, I'm thinking about a lot of shit. I'm thinking about many things. You know what I'm saying? You know, not mostly like things like what can go bad, but it's just like, also it's just like thinking about like, you know, the biggest thing, getting through it. But it's just like how everybody else is feeling. You know what I'm saying? What friend am I going to see? Who I'm going to see first? You know what I'm saying? All this type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the people that, I mean, the amount of races I've run where I'm like, okay, just a few more miles and then I'll get to see this person or this group or this.
And that's your boost.
Yeah.
And that's your boost. You know, that's your power boost. That's a power boost. You know what I'm saying? It's like right now, I'm going to take some time back. When I see them, you know what I'm saying? I'm out of there, you know, because that's my speed boost or whatnot.
Yes, and, no, absolutely. It really is.
That's definitely how it was when I came across Ricky. Because when I came across Ricky, I flew past. Ricky wasn't even ready for the pop.
Are you talking about in the
St. Louis
a few months ago?
Him,
okay.
Ryan,
I was with him, but I didn't see you.
I ran past all their ass. Oh yeah, I was just out of there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like literally just like he had to run with me to pop the joint, which was amazing. But it's just kind of like, you know, and I'm not on this whole speed demon thing. I think that's what's scaring me now. Mostly is to see so many of my friends and individuals I'm getting to learn and know how quickly they want to get faster. And like I said, I promise I personally did not was not on this, like, I gotta get faster. I just wanted to get better all around. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and I'm also lighter than a lot of the homies that are running too. And I don't think people are taking that to account. I mean, you know, it's definitely, you can definitely shave off time with how much you weigh and stuff like that. But that was an accident. It's just like the way I'm eating now is different. You know, it's what I'm doing and putting in my body is just different. But then I got friends that are bigger than me, who run hella faster than me. You know what I'm saying? They were running laps around me. And it's just like, so it doesn't matter. Like, I'm literally telling homies, I'm like, listen, your race is going to always be a race. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can train for whatever and get better at it. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing nothing different. If anything I'm doing different is asking more questions and listening.
Friends, I want to share something amazing with you that I got to experience a few weeks ago while I was at the Western States 100, which is maybe one of, if not the most iconic ultra races in the world. It is definitely the race here in the US that pulls the most elite runners in one go. I was honored to be crewing one of my friends who, by the way, was also taking precision, Ryan Montgomery, but also within the top 10, 5 of the men running in the top 10 at Western States were taking precision. And it was amazing to see them just take down the PF90 gels, which is essentially 3 gels in one. When you're running 100 miles, you obviously need a lot of fuel. I, however, as someone who runs marathons, would like to build to ultras, I tend to just take down the 30 grams of carb gel in one go because my stomach still needs to be trained. But it was incredible seeing these athletes, how well they performed. 5 of the top 10 were taking precision gels. They are very neutral flavors. You don't get that flavor fatigue. They don't have the stickiness. They're not difficult to swallow. They go down really easy. And I just love taking the gels. I'm actually glad to be biking more now so I can actually start to take more of the gels. They are really easy to enjoy. And if you aren't sure how much you should be taking in terms of fuel or how much electrolytes you should be taking, be sure to go check out that fuel and hydration planner for free with Precision. You can go to the links in the show notes to go get that. There's also a free 20-minute consultation, no strings attached, that you can go get a link in the show notes. So by going to precisionhydration.com and you use code Tina Sent Me, that's Tina Sent Me at precisionhydration.com, you can get yourself 15% off. I definitely encourage you to check out those PF30 gels to get yourself some electrolytes and the chews. I love the mint and lemon flavor. Those go really well together. So go to precisionhydration.com and go get what the best is using. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us. I love that curiosity side of you. That's, as you said, you always want to be a student. And I think that is one of the most important things that any of us can do, is to continue to learn and listen and not ever get to a point where we feel like we know everything and we need to stop learning. Or if we do feel like that, maybe seeing how we could change it. I mean, that's kind of partly what took me down the route I do at now, where I've done a lot of guiding and running with visually impaired runners and things like that, because doing things outside the box of what I used to do, because I want to get to know what it's like for other runners. I want to be able to give back to people who are blazing a path. And so, yeah, I think there's always ways you can evolve and continue to learn. Now, you mentioned, next year, maybe not running Chicago and being on the other side, and then you also talked about everyone going through, their own versions of struggles throughout the race, but all hitting the same start and finish line. What is the creative side in you? Is there anything that you, as you've been in this running space, but you've kind of been focused on your own running over the last few years? Is there a part of you that is curious? I mean, I could see you I know it's kind of a lot of photographers and videographers do it, but almost like a Humans of New York through a running eyes, just seeing all these different stories that are coming through of what people are working through. Is there a creative part of you that you've been thinking about within running? Or maybe you don't want to say if it's... No,
I can say it. I mean, it just got to happen. Me and a good friend of mine, Gabby, we partnered and just was talking about the body. Gabby is a dancer, and she just kind of moved her body in so many different types of ways, where it's just it's really, really beautiful, and it's an art to it. You know what I'm saying? The way she's moving her body. And I was just talking to her about this a body period, how it would be a dream of mine to focus on body parts from athletes, runners, that is, really focus on different parts of their body that kind of just give them a pain or something, or it's kind of this is where it hurts, or this is something that, that one guy's calves that looks amazing. Say you want to photograph his calves, or this scar that's on.
Yeah, I got a nice scar on my Achilles now.
You know what I'm saying? Photographing that, medium format, large format, blowing it up, and telling the story behind it within movement. Say for instance, you're able to move your Achilles or put your ankle up in a way of how I can photograph that. And it's almost focus on it, where you don't even know what it is until we tell you what it is, or something like that. So there are things that I've talked about that I just haven't had time to really just do, because it's like one thing I struggle with always is just time and like just the amount of time in the day. Sometimes I just don't want to do shit. You know, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to nobody. I really just kind of want to be in my space. I'll get to it. You know, I'll get to it because, you know, there's timing for everything, you know, and it's kind of like there's timing for like running. There's timing for doing like some type of workout. You know what I'm saying? It's I'll get to it, you know, and I just don't want to get in a place of beating myself up for not getting there.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And thinking that it needs to happen right then and there. You know what I'm saying? I think like now it's like obviously again, digital age, we feel like we have to do everything now, put it out then. You know, if I'm not getting a check by anybody who is like, if I'm doing this for and they paying me, it's, you know, I feel like I can take my time. Now, if I was getting a check for it, it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like there are places I do want to focus on, you know, like thinking about TSP. Like there was a lot of, for those who don't know what that is, it's a speed project from LA to Vegas. I did that with some friends from the Bay, Hella Bay. Shout out to them.
Yeah, I saw that's another connection we have.
Hella Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know Adrian?
No,
that's who I knew from Hella Bay because I used to live out in Oakland. So Adrian and Quinn.
Penelope and Jess were the two that I most.
Oh, tight. Yeah. Tight. Yeah. So it's just like connecting with them and Josh. And, you know, like to see him doing these this dude is doing 100 milers and 50 milers every goddamn week. And he's just like, that's just his thing. And it's just like, you know, there's so many layers of this. And, you know, a lot of homies of mine, we really accelerated with this running stuff, like over time. So kudos to a lot of them, but I just really hope that we all just taking care of ourselves.
Yeah, period. I agree.
You know, and it's just like, but to see us excel and just kind of like start doing it for real. Cause I'm starting to see like a lot of homies talk about it. Like good homie Andres, he literally said, you know, I went from like having FOMO from being out at night to like wanting to go to sleep so I can get up early in the morning and do this with my body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like a whole different structure and focus on people's lives for the better. You know what I'm saying? Like for the better.
I mean, look at what Jackie has done.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Peace runners? Oh my God. Oh my God. Like peace runners.
Peace runners, yeah.
Jackie is such a beautiful person. That motherfucker he don't even understand like the west side of Chicago is seeing what they doing. We just did the Juneteenth run. Shout out June 19th. That's my birthday in real life. You know, so to be there and just be around that energy and then running with a good homie, Joey Pert, and him PRing his first his first 5K and running with him, doing speed bursts with him, and he taking over his running life now. Like he's a boxer, dad, hip hop artist, one of the best dressed humans I know, and now he's running. You know what I'm saying? And see him PR, and he did that alongside me. It was kind of a great feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was really dope because we wasn't playing, and that's another thing. It was not playing. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna run with you, bro, and we just ran together. And that's kind of like what happened with me and Caleb. You know, me and Caleb met up doing the 13.1, and I just ran. She's like, you want to run together? I'm like, yeah.
It's the best
and then that's kind of how it happened. You know, so everything's just kind of like just organically building and making stuff happen is the best thing, I feel like, you know, with a lot of this stuff.
And beautiful that you can get all these artists and creatives and people who contribute positively in the world in different ways to all have this shared passion and shared, as you said, finish, like, you know, traveling along this journey together of a race. It's beautiful. Right.
Just doing something so insane, like running down Las Vegas Boulevard at 1 a.m. as fast as you can. That shit was wild. Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I wanted to be done. I wanted to be done. So just when I seen that Las Vegas sign, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm almost there. And it was just like such an insane feeling that I'll never forget, you know? And like you said early on, it's just like you did all these runs, you did a marathon, then you did a relay. all within like a year and a half.
That's quick. That's a quick jump in.
But I didn't even know that it was kind of like, is there a time to like break stuff down? I guess it used to be or something. I guess.
Yeah, the rules have changed now. I think there was always like a structure of people tended to do this, and then when they'd done enough of those, they moved up. Now it seems like, people come in.
I think it's mostly. I think it's access, and probably is it access or is it just kind of like? I guess people are just more curious. I don't know.
Yeah, just like barriers breaking down. People like want to, see that, someone else did something crazy and they think, well, why can't I? So what could that be for me?
And the camaraderie, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like knowing people that's into running, you know what I'm saying? And just been doing it. And the way they have been doing it.
Yeah.
Rahel, very special person. Seeing her run, you know what I'm saying? And just like learning from her running. And then, like I said, Kayla, Courtney, seeing Ricky, you know what I'm saying? All these like just different people just like really investing their time and energy into this and like just getting it done.
Yeah.
It's just like been amazing. Shoot, you know what I'm saying? Like your story. It's just saying like the folks like Jason. Jason was on the pod. Meeting him. Yeah, meeting him through, meeting, him and stuff like that and just learning about him and his story. Like, it's just so many people.
Yeah, so on that note, I'm going to say for listeners, we've obviously talked about a lot of names there. I'm going to try and remember. So Jackie has been on the podcast. Jackie, Ricky, Kayla, who else? I haven't had Courtney on yet.
You haven't had Courtney on yet?
Nope.
Ian Gonzalez.
Ian. Anyone else from who we've mentioned today? Probably is some others. Halabay I did have on a different kind of run, a different kind of episode. But yeah, so there'll be many links in the show notes for, Jason as well, if I didn't already say him. So you can go ahead and listen to those, just lots of other good examples of humans to learn and listen from, and you just have a unique perspective. So I want to finish up here by, when I asked Ricky what I should ask you about, he did mention, and I did see it on your social media, about a picture that you took that is now in the, is it the Art Museum or the History Museum?
It was in the St. Louis Art Museum.
Art Museum, yes. A great day in St. Louis. You took this iconic picture of St. Louis artists. Tell us about that experience and like what that meant to you to do that.
Oh, shoot. I can just kind of date myself a little bit. Just kind of meeting all these individuals growing up, meeting some friends, Jonna, Darren, Nesbitt, Jonna Woodard, Darren Nesbitt, Skip Jones. We had a online media company in college called Made Monarchs, and we met so many amazing, talented people, from musicians, artists, designers, clothing designers, cooks, folks who now making shea butter, just so many different people. And anyways, like that accumulated a lot of just like relationship building over the time. And I was approached by a good friend of mine, Ricky Bird, who is the soul, I would say, behind this whole exhibition. And she brought me into this to photograph an iconic photograph in our city of different folk within the city, paying homage to, the great Gordon Parks. It was just amazing. It was amazing to bring that many people together in one space in St. Louis, at Art Hill. It kind of reminded me of that moment where Kendrick Lamar recently just had, where he brought all like the Bloods and Crips together on stage in LA, and just together. And it was just like one of those moments where it's just like bringing all these different hip hop artists together and these artists together in one space who haven't seen each other in a long time, who probably didn't, I don't know everybody's story, you know what I'm saying? But everybody was in this space. There's probably like some history behind them. But then to see everybody in a photo, and then I'm the person who took it. I got this thing where I don't honestly give things to time to really sit back and reflect on. And I haven't done it yet. So to speak on this right now is special because I haven't talked about it. I haven't talked about it in a long time. You know, honestly, I wouldn't sit here and say I forgot it happened. But the fact that it happened last year and that exhibition is still traveling because it's traveling right now. And it's just kind of wild to think that it happened, you know, like last year, like that happened last year, along with many other things that happened last year. And so it was a really great moment. You know, Ricky was so excited to be there. I had this beautiful photo of us like embracing, like hugging one another. It was just like really dope to work with the amazing mastermind. That dude is just like, I knew who to tap in with to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of like one of those things where it's just like it coming to life and happening. I always feel very, I would say sad when something is kind of over because the amount of time and duration it takes to do something. And then when it happens, and then it's just like, damn. It happened and it's over. It's like that takes away from the time, you know what I'm saying, the moment, you know what I'm saying, in a way of like, let's just keep celebrating this. Like, can we go back to that day? You know, because I remember I had to leave and go back home. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even really like around for real, which sucked, you know? It's just like an ideal world where it's cool for all of us to go eat somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a really great moment. And I still, you know, thank you for reminding me and bringing that back up because I wouldn't say I forgot it happened, but the fact that it did happen, I'm just like reminded like, hey, you have done some really cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like really just take note and just know that you have done some cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like Abel, it was blessed. Like my calling, I always look at it like this. I'm a creative that I do tend to beat myself up here and there and thinking that I should be doing this. Why haven't I got this opportunity? But just last week, I was just like, you know, I get the opportunities that make sense for me, you know, and I'm able to build with different individuals and then come across different folk and make the relationships that I make. So it is all on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I can't chase anybody else's and what they're doing because that's what they're supposed to be doing. You know, it's their calling. Everybody's calling is different. So it's kind of just like being where I'm at. That's kind of like what I nailed.
I love that. And thank you for sharing that with me and the listeners of just what that moment meant to you. And yeah, I hope after today you are able to go and reflect on some of the things you've even done in 2024. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but you're one of the 3 people that were selected to be the Bank of America Chicago Distance Series ambassadors.
Wow.
Like that's a huge opportunity.
And that's very huge. And it was just like, even that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I received a lot of love and I was just like, how did that happen? I'm like, I don't really know. You know what I'm saying?
And same with your mile tomorrow. Like, you know, I'll encourage listeners when this comes out to go check back and see how you got on with that. But even that, like giving the very best you have to a mile is an accomplishment and something that is scary for anyone. That's a scary thing to be doing. But, you know, even that is something to be proud of, that you are committing and just going to do the best you can. And that's all you can do. And that's a part of your story. So I can't wait to see what the, you know, future has to hold. And while you've been very vulnerable with sharing that same thought we all have of I'm not doing anything, not doing enough, not doing it quick enough. That's one of the many downsides of this world we live in of, you know, quick social media, move on, you know, low attention spans, but you are doing a lot and I can't wait to see what comes in the future because clearly whatever you do, you commit and you have the passion and intention behind it. So keep it up. It's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely, that's honestly my intention. Like I said, the goal is just like to stay healthy. Being 36 now, looking and feeling better at this age than I was, it's been times in my life where I was like super duper fit and not, super duper fit and not, and just kind of like not caring or whatnot. But then it's just like, now I'm just here. So I just kind of want, I personally want to stay locked in where I'm at in this place in my life, because it makes me happy. It makes me, I feel really good.
Keep it up.
Yeah, just want to keep it up.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with me today, and appreciate you. And I will definitely make sure for the Chicago Marathon finish and the New York. Well, New York is a bit more difficult to get across, but Chicago, I will definitely be in that finish area in Grant Park, and I'm going to come find you and celebrate with you.
Just real quick before we exit, any tips from you, a person who only ran one marathon but now has two back to back?
For the back-to-back marathon piece? Well, I think you've got it the right way around, because I think Chicago is the one that, is faster and flatter, and potentially could be a place where you could run fast. Although as I said earlier, I wouldn't go into it with like, I have to run fast, because then you really get yourself in trouble.
Right. I'm not even going to trip off that. I feel like I'm going to PR regardless.
But the marathon, the New York Marathon, I mean, it's just a beautiful celebration of how different the boroughs are, and every part of it has just something different to offer. So that one, I'm
just going to have fun, honestly.
Just have it as a celebration. I mean, I hope when you go by me, wherever I end up being, I will, this is the first time I haven't run it and I've gone to watch, I don't think I've ever, maybe once. So I will be spectating this year, and I'm looking forward to having that experience, but I hope you just are able to take that one in and celebrate, because it is just a beautiful example of humanity. So definitely just celebrate it. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me, and can't wait to see what the future holds.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Before we go any further, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Running for Real team. Without them, I would not be able to do barely anything compared to what I'm able to do today. They are behind the scenes. They are there for me. I am just so appreciative of them. To Jeremy Nessel, our podcast editor, audio consultant, and someone who's been with me since the start. To Sally Pontarelli, our content and operations manager, who is there day to day doing all the things to help me be successful. To Kelsey Wang, our head of design, and Louise Murphy, our associate designer. And finally, to Sandy Gutierrez, our photographer and content strategist. I am appreciative of all of you and wouldn't be able to do what I do without you. Thank you so much for listening to that episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I really enjoyed getting to know Adrian, and I hope you did too. You can find links to go check out Adrian's work, his website, his social media, as well as our sponsors and partners for the day at runningforreal.com/episode 408. That's runningforreal, FOR.com/episode 408. You can find links to the partners, Tracksmith, to Runner, to Precision. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next week.